Whoop whoop, Feminine Energy Month is well underway, and I'm back with a second dose of feminine energy goodness for you, my love. Today we're talking about the one thing you need to harness to make more money, like right away, right now. Not just money though, not just enough money or some money, more. Lots more and fast. You already know that mindset work and energetic work is essential to making the kind of money that you want to make, right? Well, there's one thing that you can harness to make it all happen faster. And no, it's not just feminine energy. That would be too easy of an answer here. It's more specific than that. I see too many women not taking advantage of this one thing. And so I want to make sure on today's episode that that's not you. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. You're listening to the Limitless Mother Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Javid, money mindset expert, success coach, mother, tea drinker, energy obsessed manifester, afternoon bath lover, and thought leader in financial empowerment for mums. I know that we get to be successful because we are mothers, not in spite of it. And so around here, we do things differently. I've torn up the business rulebook and created a new paradigm for us, one in which we create results using energy instead of effort. I'm on a mission to help you ditch the old way of creating success. You know, the one where you work hard, hustle, and sacrifice, and instead teach you how to increase your impact and income without increasing your hours, and how to manifest your dreams. So, if you're a mother who's ready to learn how to elevate your energy to start making bank and start living your limitless life, this is your podcast, my love. And I'm your new biz bestie. Join me as we explore what's possible for us as mothers and business owners when we remove the limits. Hello, Limitless Mothers. It's me, your business bestie, Corey Javid from CoreyJavid.com. How are you, my love? I'm marvelous. Thanks for asking. I legit am marvelous. I went for a coffee walk along the beach with my best friend this morning. It was delightful, nothing short of delightful. So good. So good to have our Friday coffee walks back. Yes. What else is going on over here? It's about to be Mother's Day soon, as I'm recording this. And if you remember my lockdown birthday episode, I'm very much a fan and an advocate of asking for what we want, ladies. It's not necessarily something that comes naturally to us. But I think that once we start doing it, we start noticing that people around us are happy to support us, to oblige, and actually, great, we get what we desire. So it's a conversation that we had at our dinner table earlier this week. First of all, my mum had phoned and said, and also I feel like, I don't know why, everyone's so pernickety. Well, actually nobody's pernickety in this space. But anyway, other people in other spaces online are pernickety and are kind of like, oh, should you be doing that and stuff? Anyway, we're in a childcare bubble with my parents. So that's fine. That's said. It's on the record. And my mum phoned and said, what should we do on Mother's Day? I was going to cook a Thai green curry. Do you guys want to come around? And I was like, I don't know. Let me see what we're doing. And I thought, you know what? That sucks. She shouldn't be cooking on Mother's Day. She's a mother. It's her day as well as mine, right? And so I just sat at the dinner table with my daughter and my husband, and I just said to them, so it's Mother's Day on Sunday. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, and I feel like we should all get together. And they were like, yep. I was like, but I don't feel like my mum or I should cook. And I just sat there in the silence looking at them. So, guess what's happening? My daughter and my husband are going to cook us all a roast. Yay. So anyway, get what you want, ladies. Ask for it. Be clear. And we're having beef. I am going to make the Yorkshire puddings because they tried to make them before and it wasn't a success. So I'm happy to just step in and do that. But otherwise, she'll be putting my feet up and drinking at least one, probably many more glasses of wine. So we are back with Feminine Energy Month. Yes. Oh, yay. I absolutely love talking about feminine energy. Don't you? Yes. And so actually, before we get into today's topic, the one thing you need to harness to make more money money like right away. I want to tell you about the Feminine Energy Bonus live stream that's going to be going down inside our Facebook group, the Limitless Mothers Facebook group. It's happening on Thursday, the 18th of March. So if you're listening to this as it's coming out live, that's this week, my love, at 1 p.m. UK time. If you're not in the UK, check some kind of currency converter, because I think clocks in the States at least have changed already. So yeah, it's going to be a kind of lunch and listen type of affair. So feel free to bring your lunch if it's lunchtime where you are. If it's not, that's weird, right? But hey, if you want to have lunch in the morning, knock yourself out. So yeah, it's going to be a kind of like a lunch and listen and learn type of affair. It's a behind the scenes, and specifically I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm using feminine energy in my business right now. I'm using it in a very specific way right now in my business, and I want to just share that with you. I think it's always really interesting to see the very sort of practical application of some of these topics, especially when we're talking about things like energy. I know that when I was really first getting into mindset work and manifestation, I felt quite frustrated by a lot of the resources and videos and things that I was consuming, because I was always asking myself, yes, but how? Like specifically, what do I do with this information? And so I always endeavor to keep things applicable to you on the show so that you know how to actually go away and integrate these things. And so I thought it might be super interesting to you if I share exactly how I'm using feminine energy. Well, some of the ways, like obviously there's many ways, but some of the key ways I'm using feminine energy in my business like right now. So yes, if that sounds fun to you, come and join us. If you're not already a member of our Facebook group, what have you been doing, my love? So remiss. Come and join the Limitless Mothers Facebook group. Okay, let's get into this. Are you ready to up level financially? And I mean like significantly. So this episode, we're not just talking about making some money. We're talking about making significantly more money, like a lot more money, like a buttload of money. What is a buttload, by the way? Let's not go there. A shit ton, a metric shit ton of money. Let's talk about that, shall we? About having these kind of financial leaps and sustaining them. So here's the thing, and here's why I really want to talk about this in Feminine Energy Month. And by the way, no, the one thing isn't just, it's feminine energy, hooray. Let's all go home now. You're probably at home, right? Anyway, I'm in a silly mood already. So here's why, though, I want to talk about this right now, because if you felt in any way constrained or limited by the circumstances of the lockdown and pandemic and 2020 and all of the things, and you feel like you can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel maybe on that front, or maybe your circumstances are changing and easing up and improving, I know that it's really easy to feel like, do you know what, all I want is just to be able to crack on with my business. I'm really just itching to roll my sleeves up and get stuck in. And hey, if you have felt or been like legitimately prevented from working in your business in either the way that you would like to or as much as you would like to, like, I wouldn't blame you for feeling that way. However, taking action and only taking action is just never the answer, is it? I'm hoping that if you've been around here for any length of time, you know this to be true. Because that's a really quick path to overwhelm and burnout. It's very easy to go from being excited, taking some action, getting stuck in, to then quite quickly feeling overwhelmed, not getting the traction you want, not creating the type of momentum that you want, and then winding back down again and going, oh, so that's what I really want to save you from. I really feel like if you are feeling any sense of this kind of opening up of possibility, and hey, possibility has always existed, but let's not go into that conversation because that's a separate conversation right now. But if you are feeling just an expansive energy and an excitement for creating more money in your business, I want to tell you how you can leverage that in a way that's really going to long-term suit you, that's going to be sustainable for you, and actually can get you faster and more easeful results. That's why I'm really passionate about talking about this today. Not channeling all of that excitement into busyness and doing and effort. No, let's not do that. Okay, so in the last week, and I'm sharing these for a very specific reason, right? So in the last week, one of my clients got onto one of my mastermind calls and said, I've signed yet another one-to-one client. And this has been like what she's been celebrating consistently, like another one and another one. And now when I say a one-to-one client, she has a high ticket offering. So that's not just, what's the word here? It's not small potatoes. What is the word? Answers on a postcard. You know what I mean. It's a significant sum of money, said another way. And in the same week, another of my clients in my mastermind signed 3 new clients herself. And another of my clients in the last week totted up the money that she has manifested since October, since just coincidentally, she joined my, I'm winking at you, you didn't see that, my Elevated Abundance Mastermind. She's manifested 3 times her annual income in money received from all manner of incredible ways and places. So these are just 3 results that I want to share with you from the last week, because these are all women who have welcomed in significant money fast, and they're all using and harnessing this one thing. And that's why I really wanted to share this with you, because you can be harnessing this one thing too for yourself. Oh, and I just entirely forgot to mention before we got stuck into this, and I've just remembered because these are all mastermind clients that I've just shared. I was totally supposed to do this before now, but hey, life's not perfect. The waitlist is open for the Elevated Abundance Mastermind. If you're not already on the waitlist, my love, what are you doing? Head over to CoreyJavid.com/elevate, because the women on that waitlist, guess what they're getting? They're getting first dibs on spaces when re-enrollment opens up in just a few short weeks. Plus, they get an exclusive discount that you're not going to get if you're not on the waiting list. There's no obligation. Just sign up and you'll be the first to find out. CoreyJavid.com/elevate. It would have been so much more slick if that had been at the top of the show. Anyway, moving on. So these 3 clients, they've had these really great money wins, and I just really wanted to share with you not just the feminine energy of those money wins, but they are specifically harnessing one thing. And I want you to think about how you can be harnessing this in a more intentional way in your business to be making more money more quickly. And there was just something that one of the clients said to me on our group call when she was celebrating this win with us. And I really resonated because I've been there. I've seen lots of other clients feeling the same, but just the way that she vocalized it, and I'll share that with you in a bit, was just the kind of like spark of inspiration of like, yes, I need to speak to my lovely listeners about this. They need to hear this. So if you're ready to make more money already, then listen in, my love, because we're going to be getting to it. Now, it's important, first of all, to have a reason for that money. Like, before we really get into it, make sure that you are really clear on what that is for you. It's no good just pursuing money as a number if it doesn't have any meaning to you. And so I'm sure you probably have already done this, but just before we even get stuck into this, I really want you to think about what that number would be for you, what that more money level is for you. Like, what is that next level financially for you in your business? And what does it mean to you? What does it mean to your business? What does it mean to you personally? What does it mean to your family? What does it mean to your future? Maybe even to your community. Like, what does that represent to you as a feeling? What's the essence of it? You know, it could be for you having a really great pot of money sitting there for when travel opens up and you can go on like the most epic family holiday. It could be you really desire to contribute more to the household income, or to be the sole breadwinner. Actually, fun fact, one of my clients, so proud of her, recently was able to support her husband and tell him, do you know what? You don't have to work in your job you hate anymore. You can hand in your notice. And he did. Amazing. So yeah, maybe for you, it's being the sole breadwinner. Maybe that would feel amazing and empowering for you. Maybe you want to make more money because you've just decided this is your year, in which case I'm high-fiving you. It totally gets to be your year, my love. Maybe you just want the freedom to buy more cool shit. Maybe you just want to have the freedom to just say yes to the things that are like aligned to your values or just feel fun in the moment. Like, I don't know, things that used to like really be things that I desired but didn't feel able to buy, and when my financial circumstances were different before I started, you know, leveraging my energy and my mindset and all that all that jazz, with things like organic food. And now like we just shop as organically as is possible, and the cost is kind of not a consideration. Things like cashmere jumpers. I just love cashmere. I'm not going to lie to you. I just love the feel of it on my skin. It's delightful. I love a pair of cashmere socks, right? Things like this, or having just my most favorite brand of champagne, which I'm actually torn between the Taittinger, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's not spelt that way. Or the Paul Roger the Paul Roger Vintage. It's quite nice. So anyway, let's not get into all of that. But those are just some of the cool things that I like. And so my point being, you get to decide, and you don't have to justify it. You get to just desire money for fun things just because, right? You get to desire it just because you desire it, the end. But I want you to get really clear on why you want to be making significantly more money, because that's going to help your motivation, obviously, in making it happen, but it's going to help you magnetize it to you when you're really clear and you really understand the vibration, therefore, of the money that you're attracting, because it is relating to how you intend to use it. So we're all on the same page. You're connected to your desires as they relate to money. You're like, yes, show me the money. Okay, let's get into it. So what is the one thing? I feel like I did a really good job of teasing it. Can we all just pause for a minute? Give me a little pat on the back, because I find it really hard because I get excited and I want to bring this topic to you. And I like do the teaser headline because, it's like good marketing. The one thing you need to harness, and it is the one thing you need to harness, right? But I feel like I made it, what are we, 15 minutes into the show, and I didn't tell you what the one thing is yet? Like, yay me. Okay, so what is the one thing? Well, yes, obviously it's energy. Like if you've been here for longer than this single episode, then you'll know that I'm all about creating money using energy instead of effort. So yes, it's energy. Yes, it's feminine energy, obviously, because it's Feminine Energy Month. But before you switch off and go, oh, groan, I already knew the answer. It's actually way more specific than that. It's not just your energy that I want you to harness to make more money with more ease and speed. We're talking about specifically here. It's the energy of the feminine collective. This is the thing that can really move the needle for you very quickly. So let's break it down. I'm going to tell you why the Feminine Energy Collective is just so powerful when it comes to making money. And I'm going to tell you kind of how it works and why it works, so that you can actually be harnessing it yourself too. And we can talk about, how can you go ahead and harness this like stat to start making more money. So let's get into it. The Feminine Energy Collective is mega powerful because you're not just trying to leverage your own energy, which you can do, and you can get great results, right? So I want to be super clear and transparent about that. You can leverage your own energy and create incredible, amazing results. But when you leverage the energy of the collective, you suddenly are tuned into something so much bigger, so much more powerful, that you can literally whoosh forward with so much speed. Think of it a little bit like, if you're leveraging your own energy, it's like you're leveraging a battery, right? So, like a AA battery, you might put like a remote control. Say that's you and your energy. And it's great. It's like powering this thing that it's in, but it's kind of like limited because it's, has a certain amount of energy in there, and it can produce great results, but it's all on that kind of like one battery and how charged it is. Whereas when you tune into and leverage and harness the energy of the feminine collective, then it's like plugging yourself into the mains, to the socket in the wall, and accessing like all of electricity, right? So that's the difference, my love. It's so much more powerful, and that's why it can boost you forward so much quicker. Because if you think about it, when we are working on our energy to attract more money, we are working on our vibration, right? So there's a couple of ways that this works. When you're doing that alone, then that's fine, and you can attract more money, fine, but you're working on your vibration. And so if you've been in a really kind of crummy relationship with money previously, especially if you haven't done Limitless Money, or you've been struggling with money and in a really lack mindset, then it can be, a significant amount of transformation and shifts need to occur and need to happen for you to up level, to be at a vibration of being a match for more money. And also then if you're going to up level from there, you can absolutely do it on your own. But if you are tuned into a collective that is already vibrating at a high frequency, then you just tap in. There's no inner work to be done. You just connect to it. And so it works on these two levels because it helps you to raise your frequency so much quicker because you're not really needing to do anything other than tune in to the collective. And at the same time, because the collective has so much more power, it's the sum of the whole is greater than the total of the individuals, or whatever that phrase is. You know what I mean? It's more than 2 + 2 = 4, right? When it comes to the collective. So because of that, the collective vibrates at such a high frequency and with such a strong frequency that it magnetizes abundance that matches that frequency with so much more ease because it's like a much more powerful beast. The difference is like, and again, just to use an analogy here, you can have like a magnet of your own and it can be really powerful, yes. But then if you tune into this massive magnet, which is the feminine energy collective, then you get to like magnetize like bigger and better things to you with so much more ease. Is this making sense? So don't worry, we'll get into like some specifics in a minute. Like we'll get up there in the kind of conceptual right now, but we'll bring it back down to like, okay, now what do you specifically do? But I really want you to understand like why this is so powerful and why it's like the thing that you can really leverage for those faster, bigger money leaps. So, before I've shared the story, I feel like a million times at this point, but the very first month that I joined the mastermind that I'm in, I really experienced that almost like visceral sensation of being in a high vibration collective of women, all who kind of like, who understand one another, support each other, yes, but also who are all coming together with a very common goal of earning not just money, but significant sums of money and unapologetically talking about it, celebrating it, calling it in, inviting it in. And it was like really like a tangible almost feeling that I felt. And I had like my biggest money month by far. Like I really leapt that first month that I joined. That's not a coincidence, right? Now there's lots of things that happened there. One is I was investing myself significantly and I was opening myself up to receive and all of that like really great stuff. But I was harnessing the energy of the collective. I was like, oh, that's just what we do around here. Okay, it's on then, and we can basically borrow and like harness the energy of the collective. So suddenly it's not just our own energy that is operating on our behalf and out there and magnetizing things towards us. We get to tune into, instantly upgrade our energy and then draw upon the energy of the collective to bring more money to us quicker. So that's a kind of the energetic side of it and why this actually works. There's also just something, this is just a totally personal thing, but I just wanted to share it with you anyway. There's something that I absolutely adore about specifically a feminine energy collective. And that is that in society, I don't know how this came about, but we got into a place, didn't we, where the idea of groups of women, there was this idea of like cliquiness and, bitchiness. And I'm sure you've experienced that in life. I've had like more than my fair share. I could do at least a whole podcast episode on the kind of awful, bitchy bullying that I experienced at an all-girls school. Ugh, it was just like the worst. And I very much felt like through my kind of teens and into my 20s, I didn't trust groups of women. I had friends, but I didn't trust groups of women at all because I had been badly burned, humiliated, really, shat on so many times by groups of women and girls. And that kind of feminine energy collective was not a beautiful thing. And so I absolutely love the feminine energy that I see in the kind of online space generally. I don't know about where you hang out online, but I see so much beauty and so many groups of women and so many communities coming together and genuinely raising each other up, genuinely celebrating one another, cheering each other on. There's none of this, bringing somebody down a peg or two, or trying to like claw, our way to the top and by stepping on trampling on others. And there's none of that I see. Anyway, maybe I'm just, well, hey, we create our own experiences, just not what I see online, right? So I just probably just don't magnetize that sort of thing to me anymore. So like on a personal level, I absolutely adore using and being part of and also facilitating and creating the collective feminine energy collectives in order to make more money, but also just do more good just generally. But also I just personally, like I was saying, I just personally love it because it's so nice to see. It's just such the antithesis of, say, from my school experience, and how groups of women have been unfortunately like portrayed and perceived in like media and films and all kinds of places, right? So anyway, that's my little personal notes there in case it resonates with you. So how and why do you need to harness the feminine energy collective to make more money? And let's get into some specifics here, because we've talked about the energetic, but I know, let's bring it back down for a minute. So, first and foremost, it's probably not an unfamiliar concept because, there's all this research on how the people that you surround yourself with really impact you and impact your earning potential, right? So I think we can all get on board with that idea. But here's really kind of behind the scenes what happens inside a feminine energy collective when that collective has been created for the specific reason of celebrating one another and supporting each other in success and creating wealth in particular. So that we're talking about making more money here. So I'm not just talking about being part of a lovely group of women. That's really good. That's really important to have in our lives, to have that sort of support. But I'm talking about being part of a group of women who have come together to talk about money, to celebrate making money, to, as well as other things. It doesn't have to be like the only thing, but have come together with that common purpose, with that common permission. That permission is so powerful, and there are so many advantages of having a collective with a commonality to their goals. Like we're here to make income and impact, for example, which is the very goal of the mastermind that I'm in, for example, or the masterminds that I run, impact and income. So here's why it's really cool. Not only do you get that permission that you can suddenly talk about money, expect to make money, discuss what you're going to do with your money. That permission is massive because we really don't have that permission yet. Money still is taboo in so many circles, in so many spaces in our lives. So having somewhere that you can just go and talk frankly about making more money and openly and celebrate your successes, it's a big deal, my love. The other thing is that you have a really amazing thing that happens in that you can create a collective belief system. So a collective belief system is so powerful. You only need to look at some of the negative beliefs that you picked up from childhood, for example, or from society at large, or from, let's say, your schooling system or your family, to know how how powerful those beliefs are. Now, they might have not been ones that you would now choose for yourself. This is the amazing thing about harnessing the energy of a collective, is that you can come together with a group of women, decide this is what we believe around here. And because you all buy into that beliefs, it makes it so much easier for each individual to maintain and sustain that belief. And that we manifest based on our belief systems. That we get what we believe we can have and what we believe is possible for us, right? So it's a huge deal being able to be in a collective of women who just all are coming together to believe certain things together. The other thing is it normalizes success. So when you are in a collective of women and it's a very celebratory space, then there's this expectation and assumption, which is really, really great for elevating your energy and helping you to maintain that great energy that from which we manifest, where we have that confident expectation. I'm always going on about the dual energy of confident expectation on one side and surrender or detachment on the other side. Well, being in a collective and harnessing the collective in this way is really powerful because it normalizes that success. So it makes it so easy for you to just go, oh yeah, this is just what we do around here. Oh yeah, that it's just so normal for us to be earning this amount of money. It's a really great kind of bubble to be in. Now, it can be entirely different inside of that beautiful bubble than it might be in other spaces in your life or other spaces online or wherever else. But the fact is, if you've got that little ecosystem of energy that you can immerse yourself in and draw upon, where success is just the norm, and it's very much celebrated, the tangibles and the intangibles, and you feel seen and celebrated and cherished, and you're seeing and celebrating and cherishing your sisters. It's really, really powerful, because it's so interesting how you're just like, oh, okay, she's done that. I guess I can do that too. It's such a fast track to success. Can you see how that is? Because it just, instead of it being this kind of thing that you see people who you don't really know maybe achieving, and then it's easy to think, well, there's obviously something I'm missing there. When you're in the insides with people and you're seeing your fellow sister achieve something, and then you think, oh, I can totally do that then, because I know her, I resonate with her, we're not that dissimilar, that means I can do it too. It's a really, really powerful thing. It really bolsters your belief, and you can borrow the belief of the collective, and it comes through this celebration of success. Does this make sense? And also, I just feel like, so those are some of the sort of specific ways, being able to talk about money and how you're making it, what you're doing with it, your mindset around it, the energy that you're bringing to it, and then all benefit from each other's experiences in that way. Massive. Having a collective belief system, massive. Normalization of success and celebration, big deal. So can you start to see some of the specifics here? These are, I could talk about this, I could wax lyrical about this all day till the cows come home. When are those cows coming home, by the way? Where have they been? Anyway, these are the kind of thoughts that I have. But can you start to see some of the specifics around why this is such an effective thing to harness and to be part of, and how it helps you to just have much faster leaps in success in your business and much faster financial leaps? Because when we're on our own, even if we are sort of supported, but we're not part of a collective, then we are always doing kind of like our own inner work. When you can tap into a collective, sometimes you can just totally bypass the need to do that inner work, because you're like, oh, hang on a minute. I see that, none of these women in this group are believing this thing that I'm believing that's negative. They're all believing this positive thing. Oh, I guess I don't have to believe it anymore, because it's quite compelling to see so many people not being held back by that particular thing. Does this make sense? So sometimes you can really just kind of shortcut and bypass. And because you can tune into the energy and the beliefs of the collective, it's just so much quicker than trying to cultivate that energy on your own all the time. It means that you just don't need to almost like effort your energy as much, if you know what I mean. And also, so going back to the energetic flow for a second, like I said, I feel like there's almost, when you get the right group of women together for the right purposes, like in this instance, we're talking about making more money, but making more impact and doing it in a way that works for them. Like for me, these are the kind of like feminine energy collectives I'm interested in, right? Not these ones where it's like hustle, let's all get together and hustle together. Ew. But when you do that, there's almost this, I feel like it's a visceral energy that you can actually feel. It's like a wave. And that was the thing that this one particular client who, bless you, my love, thank you for this, I know she'll be listening, who sparked the inspiration for this episode, she actually said this. So I asked her, what are we celebrating with you this week? Which is what we do on all of our mastermind calls, by the way. And she said, I just signed just yet another private client. And we all cheered and applauded. And I said, and can you share for the group, what was the energy or the mindset behind that? Because that's one of the things that we do. Side note, so that everybody can gain from her success. And she said, do you know what? I just feel like I'm riding a wave. She said, I feel like when I came into this group, and by the way, just for context, this particular group that she's in, they've only been going for a couple of weeks now. She said, I just felt like I kind of was taking, I don't know if I'm probably misquoting her, but this was the sort of sentiment of what she's saying. I felt like I was taking my place at the table. I was going to be part of this group where these other women are doing these incredible things. And it just felt like, oh, it is on. Then this is just what I'm doing too then. I'm going to take my place. And she said, and I just feel like I'm riding this energetic wave. And I really liked that because it really resonated with me. And that's exactly how I felt when I first joined the mastermind that I'm in. And it's that feminine energy collective. It has this actual momentum of its own, and you can let it carry you forward. So rather than swimming on your own, you can actually let the waves carry you along. And it's such a beautiful thing. And then there's two more aspects of harnessing feminine energy collective to make more money that I just want to share with you. One is that the infectiousness of that energy. It's really, you know how, have you ever been like in a bad mood or something, and then you see a friend or a group of friends that are just always like laughing and joking, and within minutes you've forgotten about the thing that you were in a bad mood about, and you're laughing together because they have just that infectious energy. Well, when you bring together a group of women with a common aim, but also with a common agreement that the energy of the group is paramount, and a group of women who are committed to preserving and cultivating and maintaining a high vibe within the group, then it's really infectious. So you could be having a kind of meh week in business, and then get around your group, your collective, be in that, immerse yourself in that energy, and suddenly you're back in the game, you're buoyant with energy. It's like really infectious, and it's because that actually being around people who are vibrating at a higher frequency, it just naturally raises our frequency with it, which is actually something that I always tell a lot of women who work with me, especially when they're working on their money mindset in particular. They'll ask me like, but what about my husband? His energy, his vibe right now around money is not so great. And I will do a whole podcast episode on this at some point soon, because it's a question I get so often and I love it as a topic. But just a very short thing that I will share with you now, because it's relevant here, is I always say, like, you just worry about your vibe, because if your vibe is higher, it will just automatically bring his vibe with it. Like, you don't have to actually effort that or do anything specifically intentionally about that. It will just naturally happen, because the higher vibration is more magnetic in and of itself. And so when you think about it, when you have a collective of women that come together who are committed to elevating their own energy, cultivating a high frequency, which is the, frequency of abundance, right? Then of course it's really infectious, and so it's easier for you to maintain that or get back on track energetically if you feel like you've dipped, because you've just got that to tap into, and there it is straight away. You don't have to go and manufacture it or cultivate it on your own anymore. And then the other thing is that there's just faster energetic expansion. And so when I say energetic expansion, I mean our ability to perceive the sort of vastness of possibility that's available to us, our ability to feel in tune with our own limitlessness, our ability to just see what is possible for us. It's so much faster when you are in a group of women who are doing things, achieving things, and you're all there together. You're like, oh, she did that. I wouldn't even thought of that. And that's got me thinking about how I could do it in a totally different way in my business. Or, oh, she's done that and it hasn't looked that hard. It doesn't have to be hard for me either. Or she's able to earn that much money and work those few hours. That means I can too. Because they are within your circle, specifically within your friendship group, it's so much easier to resonate with those people and then to be expanded energetically by them. Whereas sometimes when we see somebody doing something on Instagram, for example, if it's not somebody we resonate with, it's very easy for our brain to go, oh yeah, but for her, that was easier because ... Whereas when it is one of your mastermind sisters from the feminine energy collective that you're in, then you're like, oh, cool. Well, she's doing that. Oh, and she's doing that over there. I guess I'll do it too. So these are the ways in which the feminine energy collective, I think it's really underestimated just how powerful it is. I think lots of people understand that when women come together, they achieve incredible things. But I don't see many people talking about the actual energetics around why that happens, and also how it's so powerful and how you can harness it to create incredible results in your life. Now, we're talking about one result here, which is making more money. Amazing. But you can be harnessing the energy of the collective with all manner of different things. You could be in a group of women all coming together to run a marathon, for example, and you will have the same energetic impact. But obviously we're talking about money here, because we like to talk about money around here. Now, if you're sitting here and listening and you're like, yes, that makes so much sense, how actually if I'm harnessing the energy of a collective, I can create results so much faster in my business. If it's all kind of like resonating with you, and then you're probably thinking, well, okay, how do I specifically go about doing this? I would say there's a few things. You can have a look at, do you have a group of business besties, but maybe they're not all in a group together? Maybe you have like a few different women that you do Zoom coffee chats with. Maybe you could bring everybody together for this purpose of creating a feminine energy collective with the common goal. And here's the thing, if you want to be harnessing the collective to make more money, then that needs to be the objective of the collective. Does that make sense? So you can't just say, hey, should we just all get together and chat about business and stuff generally? Like if you're afraid to use the phrase money, then it's not going to really work in the same way. Like you guys need to be having conversations about the mindset around money and, celebrating money wins and all of these things. So it needs to be at the forefront if that's your intention. So you can create your own collective, and that way sometimes that can work really well if you already know some people who you think would be great at committing to, because the thing that's really important with this is you need women who are coming together with this same common goal, and also though who have the same level of commitment to the energy of the group. Because if you want to be bringing a group together for energetic purposes, then the energy of the group is everything, right? So if you already know some incredible women that would make a great group, then go and you feel good about doing that, go and create your own group. The other thing is just you can make sort of tentative steps towards this as well. If you're not feeling ready to leap into a whole group situation, you could just start thinking about who do you have in your life who is really bringing that infectious, high vibe, abundant energy to you. How could you spend more time with that person, create a kind of mini collective? And it's also about thinking about, who is bringing your energy down and draining your energy. And I'm not saying you need to cut them out or anything so gung-ho, although if that's what you choose, that's up to you. It's your life, my love, right? But it's just about being really more in tune to the energetics of different groups, different collectives that you might already be part of. I've mentioned on the show before, but when I was early on in the early stages of my business, I was part of a Facebook group, and they were lovely people and really supportive of one another, but there was a very collective scarcity and lack vibe in there. There would be lots of complaining, there was lots of expectation that it was hard to make money, and I was just like, I'm just really not vibing with this. And even though I really love and respect the woman who runs the group, and like I said, there were some really great people in there, was just this vibe of that collective that I could see was then, of course, to the detriment of everybody in it, then playing out in everybody's realities. Because if you come together with a group of people who all believe it's hard to make money as a parent, well then of course that's going to be your reality, right? So it was having the complete opposite effect of that I've been talking about today. So it's about just having that awareness, like what groups are you already in? What is the vibe there? Could you create your own collective, or could you just make more of an effort to be around people separately who are bringing this vibe, and from there tune into kind of like minier, is that a thing? Smaller collectives. And of course then the other option is paying and joining a collective, a group. And there's all manner of ways that you can do this. Obviously, I feel like mine is the best. I may be biased, but I genuinely believe if you're a mother and a business owner, and you're looking for a really powerful group of women who are coming together, bringing their best energy to create amazing results in their lives and businesses on their terms in the way that they want to, then I really think that you would be hard pushed to find one that's better than mine. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to own it. So, well, on that note, if you're ready to take your place at the table, my love, if you're ready to give yourself that beautiful self-signaling boost of saying, yes, I am worthy of this. I want to be part of one of these collectives. I'm going to harness the F out of the collective. I want to be around people who are high vibe AF. Then come and join us. Why don't you? Head over to CoreyJavid.com/elevate to get your buns on the wait list to find out more about when the doors are opening for the next round of enrollment, which is happening really soon. And also, like I said, if you're on that list, then you, my love, will qualify for a discount if you decide to join as and when things open up. So I hope today's episode has got you really thinking about both the energy collectives that you might have been unintentionally or unwittingly tapping into and not harnessing for good, and also on the flip side, how you have been or could be leaning more into harnessing the energy of a feminine collective in order to make more money in your business. I've mentioned this before on the show, but I downloaded an audiobook. I'm not so keen on the actual content so far. It could just be the narrator. But I really love the title, and it's Who, Not How. And I think that's really stuck with me, because really that's how we kind of need to start thinking more. I think as women, we are really programmed by society, etc., to just automatically, our default position is, I'll do it. I'll just crack on and do it. Don't worry, I've got this. And we tend to just get ourselves into a little bit of a rut thinking wise that we need to be doing things alone and that asking for support isn't really an option. And I know that some of that comes down to sometimes worthiness, because we need to feel worthy to receive that support. But I truly know, and it sounds cheesy and I don't care, I'm going there anyway, I truly know that we are better together. You know that from just being part of this podcast or part of my Facebook group, for example, right? But I'd love you to have a think about, if you really are desiring to make more money this year and to do so with more ease and speed, who, not how, who are you going to allow to help you? Who are you going to have supporting you? Is it one person? Is it several people? Is it a collective? What does that look like for you? But don't just assume it's all on you, my love. It's not the quickest path, and that's not the easiest path, doing it solo. And also, there's no medal. We are literally better together. And it's a beautiful thing. Oh my goodness, I cannot even tell you, because we don't have time for me to tell you how beautiful it is just watching women come together, support each other, celebrate one another, and harness that collective like a mofo. Okay, my love, I hope you have enjoyed today's show. If you want to find out more about this episode, you can do so over at CoreyJavid.com/podcast/harness. That's a weird one, isn't it? Harness. And until next time, my love, never forget, you are limitless. Bye for now. So, my love, you know what they say, sharing is caring. If you loved today's episode, then help a mother out. I would be so grateful if you would take a screenshot of this episode in your podcast player right now and post it to your Insta stories, tagging me at Corey Javid, and help me get the word out that we get to be successful because we're mothers, not in spite of it. Let's save as many other mothers in biz as we can from this old paradigm of hustle, effort, and sacrifice. And let's spread the word on energy over effort, shall we? Thanks, love.